You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with
Freedom Train.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, oh, the ramparts we watched were so calm and
Welcome race fans, men and women, boys and girls, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Dented Fender Series here live at Charlotte Motor Speedway on All Pro Broadcasting. We are here for the AJJuniorAuto.com 200. And welcome with me in the booth tonight is my good friend, fellow racer, and last year's Dented Fender Truck Series champion and 15-time winner, Curtis Young. How you doing tonight, Curtis?
Good, Robert. We're at familiar track for pretty much everybody on the sim tonight here at Charlotte. Comes with the base iRacing subscription, so everybody's got some laps on it. Should be a good race.
Yes, sir. We've got a pretty good field of drivers here. All these drivers have been racing around each other for quite a bit of time, and therefore we have got what we call a point standing. We're going to have a graphic thrown up here in just a minute, and we're going to go over the top 10 and where they're standing now, and their outlook for the rest of the season. Curtis, I'll let you go over that top 10.
Yeah, sitting in first in the point standings right now is the number 17 of Gary Sexton. He's got 152 points. He's only finished outside of the top 5 one race this season, which was last week at Kansas. Gerald Campbell in the 6, he's in second place, 4 points behind Gary. Mark Fravert in the 18, he's in third right now. Tyler Chalk in the 07 is in fourth. Jack Watts rounds out your top 5. Dustin Lee, who's your winner from Daytona, he's in the 6th spot. Josh Tanner, another winner from this season, he's in the 7th spot in his number 27 machine. Jeremy Crandall rides in the 8th position in the point standings so far this season. In his number 73, Tim Cox in the 19 machine is in the 9th position right now with 120 points, and 4 points behind him is the number 98 of Andrew Kessler, who got a win in the Xfinity Series last week, I do believe.
Thanks a lot, Curtis. Speaking of Tim B. Cox, we have Tim B. Cox here in the broadcast booth. Welcome. This is Robert and Curtis. How you doing tonight, Tim?
Hey, Robert. How are you, buddy?
We're doing great. Wanted to thank you very much for putting us in touch with the sponsor for the race tonight, AJJuniorAuto.com out of Charlotte. Owner is Jace Jamil. He's been down there for close to a decade. He's got over thousands and thousands of satisfied customers. Just want to let you get a chance to tell us about AJJuniorAuto.com.
Yeah, AJ Junior Auto is just a smaller used car lot. We carry anything from 2009s all the way up to the new 2017s that just came out. Pretty much get anybody approved. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Pretty much get anybody approved. If you guys are ever down in Charlotte, North Carolina, come back and see us.
Hey, we really appreciate it, Tim. Hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the night in the winner's circle, and you have a great race.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right, Curtis, what are you expecting out of this track and these drivers tonight in these weather conditions?
Well, we have a fairly cold track here tonight, so there's going to be a lot of grip in these trucks. They're going to be getting pretty tight on the long run. I imagine for the short run they can pretty much just hold it to the floor, but the longer you do that, the less time that your tires are going to last. And yeah, I think it's going to be about a 37 to 40 lap pit cycle here on green flag, so hopefully we can get some green flag pit stops and see who knows how to save some tires and who doesn't, because that's what it's going to come down to tonight, I hope.
Yes, Curtis. We're all hoping for that. Fans, we do appreciate you being here. We do want to remind you this is Domino's TYJ Racing, home of the free pizza giveaway. You pick the winner, you get a free pizza dinner. We do this every Wednesday, every Thursday night. We've already got a lot of folks watching. Basically how that works real simple. Curtis, as you know, for the fans who are just joining us, maybe for the first time, before halfway in this race, which tonight will be around lap 66, 67, the first fan to accurately predict the winner of this race, you can either text it on the live chat, or you can contact me, 919-883-7497. I just need the winner's name that you're picking. The first fan to accurately predict the correct winner by lap 67 wins a free large 3-topping pizza from your local Domino's store anywhere in the United States of America. Carry out only. We've done this, Curtis, about 15 different weeks out of about 18. We love doing it, and it's always interesting to see who wins the free pizza, not to mention who wins the race.
Yeah, definitely an extra little incentive for the viewers there. I know I wish I could get in on that, but unfortunately I can't do that when I'm doing this. But qualifying coming to a close, and it looks like the number 4 of William Locklear is going to be at the top of the charts with a 28.547, and Mark Jackson, who finished in second last week, is going to grab that second place. We're going to get ready to roll down the starting grid here as the drivers grid up.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing about the pizza giveaway as the drivers grid up real quick. If you're an employee of Domino's or if you are a member of Domino's TYJ Racing, you are disqualified from this special offer. All right, Curtis, at your leisure, you can go through the top 15. I'll go through the other 15.
Yeah, rolling off on the pole is going to be William Locklear in the number 4, and to his outside, the number 3 of Mark Jackson. William Hartman in the 67 rolls off on that first car on the inside row in the 3rd spot, with Dustin Lee to his outside in the 4th position. Andrew Kessler, our Xfinity winner last week in the number 98, rounds out your top 5 with Jeremy Crandall to his outside and rolling off in the 6th position. Jeff T. Martin in the 15, he's going to roll off in 7th tonight. Tim Cox, who we just spoke to here, in the number 19, he's going to roll off on the outside row in 8th place. Eric Stanford in the 24 is going to roll off in 9th, that first car back on the 5th row, with Josh Tanner to his outside in the number 84. Gerald Campbell, he's been running strong all season here in the number 6. He starts just outside the top 10 and 11th tonight, with Ray Richer in the number 44 starting in 12th. Charles Morrow in the number 63 starts in 13th tonight, with Tim Rangers with his wife spotting, might I note, starting in 14th, and Judd Danielson rounds out your top 15 in the number 85 Domino's TYJ Chevrolet.
Thank you, Curtis. Starting 16th tonight, we have Donald Sadusky in the 11. He has his son pictured on his truck tonight. You definitely want to get a good view of that. James Ross in the 51 will be starting 17th. Starting 18th, we have Vernon Margheim in the 33. Gary Sexton in the 17 will be starting 19th. 20th, we have Richard Dix. He'll be in that Blue Angels Navy bright blue colored truck. You can't miss it tonight in the 21. Starting 21st, we'll have Chad Payne in the Office HQ truck, starting 9th. In 9th, starting 21st, 22nd. We have got Gene Collum. Pace cars in, Curtis. I'll let you take us to the...
William Locklear gets on the loud pedal in his number 4 Monster Energy Chevrolet. He gets out to a big lead headed down to turn 1, and it looks like William Hartman gets the jump on Mark Jackson to the inside.
Yes, looks like we have a very clean start to the race. And obviously being the leader, you definitely get that advantage of being able to go as soon as the pace car pulls in. And William Locklear wasted no time at all getting in the front of this field. Looks like running second behind him, we've got William Hartman, who's another very talented truck driver in our series here, Curtis. He's going to be closing real close here in second. Behind him we have Andy Kessler. He's in that Andy's Lobster sponsored Toyota Tundra. He's running actually in 4th position now. Right behind him, we've got Justin Lee.
The 17 of Gary Sexton's around.
We're going to pull that replay up here in just a second.
And it looks like the 11 of Donald Sadusky. I'm not sure if if he just kept turning off the corner or if Sexton got tight, but it looks like the 11 got into the 17 there and just spun him around.
Yes, as we pull up this replay, it does look like the 17, the 11 almost made contact. And then on the back stretch, it definitely looks like they definitely got together.
17 of Gary Sexton and his Hexcam.net Chevrolet sustains quite a bit of damage here on a lap 2 incident, and I'm sure he's not too happy about that one. Drivers bypassing pit road for the most part. First truck down looks to be that number 73 of Jeremy Crandall. Ray Richer also coming down pit lane with Vernon Margheim and Donald Sadusky. And yeah, just maybe guys being a little bit too aggressive on the start there. Not sure exactly. Like I said, I'm not sure how these trucks drive, so I'm not sure if Sexton could have got tight there, or if Sadusky could have got loose and maybe just turned a little bit more than he wanted to. But nonetheless, unfortunate incident here to start the race.
Yeah, it's a little bit early to be racing that hard, and obviously things will happen. Typically in our races, Curtis, we'll see guys maybe get a little aggressive at the beginning of the race, have a caution or two. Then they usually settle down. We have some long green flag runs, and we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah, it's tough because these guys are pretty much running full throttle right now, so you can start in second and fall back 10 positions really easily if you don't do the same thing as what the other guys are doing. So these guys are fighting for positions at the beginning of the race and then trying to settle in, because as the tires get older it gets harder to pass, so they're trying to get as many passes in before the tires wear as they can. But at the same time you got to be a little bit careful, and you know, maybe people aren't being careful there, but their lights are off atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car and will be green next time by.
Yeah, so we haven't had many changes up front. It looks like William Locklear maintained that lead. Obviously, William Hartman did gain one position from where he started, from third to second. Looks like Andrew Kessler also gained from fifth to fourth. Looks like Jeff T. Martin picked up a position from seventh to sixth. Looks like Eric Stanford picked up a couple positions from ninth to seventh. Gerald Campbell picked up a couple positions from 11th to 9th. So did Charles Morrow from 13th to 11th. So we have had a few guys pick up some positions, and our good buddy Judd Danielson moved from 15th to 12th in those first few laps.
Yeah, and I think the inside is going to be the place to be on the restart, especially on newer tires. As the tires start to wear, the outside line might be a bit better if you have to start to lift into turn 1, but right now these guys are just holding it wide open pretty much until they get to turn 3. William Locklear gets going, and there's a big stack up at the back of the field, it looks like. I'm not sure what happened there. Robert, if you could go back and see who got slowed down quite a bit there. It looks like there's a bunch of cars barely even moving there. Gary Sexton, Ivan Garcia, Jack Watts, Michael Fravert, and Derek Fisher, they are way back.
Yeah, it looks like
spot on the apron. Caution. Okay, I'm going to go back and look and see exactly what happened on that restart, because that was just a...
Yeah, it looked like the leader decided not to go right when the pace car went in. He decided to slow down and wait to go a little bit later. And it looks like that's exactly what happened that caused that checkup there at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, it looks like maybe the 51 at James Ross just never got going with everybody else. That's where it looks to be where it kind of started, and Chad Payne in the 9. If you can go back and look on them on the restart, that's kind of where the bottleneck started, and then just accordion effect from there.
Yeah, like I said, it looks like the leader decided not to go right away. And obviously there was a little bit of a checkup.
And yeah, the leader does have discretion to go anytime after the pace car pulls to pit lane until when the green flag waves. So he doesn't have to go right away. I mean, a lot of people are used to that. A lot of people are used to somebody going either on the pace car or on the green, but you can go whenever you want, and that's the advantage of being the leader. And yeah, again, some of these guys just being a little bit impatient to start the race there, although I'm not really sure that's what caused that. I think somebody maybe was just in the wrong gear.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the leader actually did go pretty much right when, looks like he went right when the pace car went in, maybe a second later.
Yeah, I don't think it really started with the leader. Like I said, I think it started more back with around the 51 of James Ross and the 9 of Chad Payne. It looked like almost both of them started in the wrong gear, or they just didn't get going as fast as everybody else, and then they basically stopped on the front stretch. So I'm not sure what was going on there, but they were barely moving. Everybody was already halfway around turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's the all of the cautions will get out of the way early in the race, Curtis. Sometimes that happens, and then we'll have a long green flag run. We'll definitely have to say that. I do want to remind the fans who have joined us about the free pizza giveaway. You can pick the winner of this race, your choice, before lap 66. You can text 919-883-7497. And the first fan to accurately pick the winner of this race will win a free 3-topping large pizza from your local Domino's stores anywhere in the United States of America, carry out only. So of the people that pitted there, Curtis, what'd you see?
I think most of the guys that pitted just got a little bit of damage on the stack up from that. It looks like the top 10 is relatively unchanged, the top 15 even. So, but it does look like I noticed that Gene Collum in the 76, he's moved up to 13th from the 22nd position, and right behind him, Gary Weston in the 14 has moved up 14 positions from the 28th spot. He's up to 14th. So there's a bunch of guys that are on the move. I'm not sure if I know there's a bunch of guys that pitted on that first cycle, and that might have gained the guys that were a bit farther back a little bit of position, but not too much difference in the tires right now, I don't think, throughout the entire field.
That is absolutely right.
The pace car pulls off. William Locklear gets set to go again, and Hartman gets a decent jump on the outside as well. It looks like Mark Jackson just didn't get the start he wanted. He's still got Kessler to his outside, headed down into turn 1.
Yes, looks like Hartman is giving him a run, but William Locklear is definitely going to have a lead here.
And Mark Jackson looks to get clear of the number 98 of Andrew Kessler, headed down into turn 3 here. He's got the inside line, the preferred line on the restarts here until they get wound up to full song. Can Kessler make it stick on the outside and get the run? Doesn't look like it right now. He's going to settle back in behind him, and he's got the 32 of Dustin Lee right in his tracks.
And right up front, William Hartman was all over the bumper of William Locklear in that 4. He was unable to get a way around him. He had to settle back a couple of truck lengths, so they are single file, first through 12th, 13th, looks like, Curtis.
Yeah, first side-by-side on the track battle that I see is the number 1 of James Somke and the number 14 of Gary Weston. They're side-by-side coming out of turn 3, and it looks like Somke is going to get the position as they come to the stripe. And now Richard Dix looks to get below Weston, as they head down into turn 1 in that U.S. Navy Chevrolet. Weston fighting back on the outside of the number 1 of James Somke as they head down into turn 3. Weston almost right up near the wall there, trying to get all the momentum he can, and he has a little bit of damage on his rear spoiler there. I didn't notice that, but they're still side by side. The 14, the 1, the 51 of James Ross, 21 of Richard Dix, they're all side by side right now.
Yes, and while you were talking, the 13th of Derek Fisher got into the wall a little bit, and I think he had come off the pit road. The leaders got around him, and William Hartman is definitely giving a battle for the lead.
Now James Ross looks below Gary Weston. Weston came out on top of that gaggle of cars there, but now James Ross, he's already got a win this season. He's looking to charge his way back up through the field.
And fans, you haven't missed anything up front. William Hartman did complete that pass in the 67. He's got William Locklear, the Monster Energy number 4, right behind him. In third position right now, we have Mark Jackson in the number 3.
And Dustin Lee was right on the back bumper of Andy Kessler, the number 98. Headed down to turn 1 that last time by, and it looks like he really wants by Andy, but he just can't really find the line to get the run. So Lee riding in the 5th position right now, showing plenty of speed, and he almost grazes the wall that time. He gets the run under Kessler. He almost grazed the wall that time coming out of turn 4. We'll see if the outside or the inside is the place to be now that the tires are a little bit more worn, as Kessler and Lee are side by side coming out of 2, and it looks like Dustin Lee isn't just going to quite get clear, and Kessler's going to almost get side by side back up to the front quarter panel as they head down into turn 3, and Lee is going to get clear as they come out of turn 4.
Yes, Andy Kessler will fall back into position 5. Andy tonight is driving that 98 Aegis-sponsored Toyota Tundra. A little bit of history real quick on Andy while we got time. He is from Belchertown, Massachusetts. His race team is Aegis Motorsports. His sponsors are Aegis Motorsports, Chef Andy's Lobster Rolls, and Power Tech Power Solutions. He has been in sim racing for many years. He's also a very talented broadcaster, and we're very happy to have him in our league. He's looking great in that Aegis 98 truck tonight in 5th position.
And battle for about 21st position. It looks like James Somke, Jeremy Crandall, and who is that there? Chad Payne. The 3 of those guys are battling it out pretty good there for the 21st position right now. Jeremy Crandall looking to get on the inside of James Somke.
Yes, Jeremy Crandall has got one of the newer sponsors joined him a couple of weeks ago. Charlie's Asphalt Maintenance down there in Florida. Jeremy is a great driver in our league, driving the 73 Silverado. He usually always makes his way to the front. He takes his time. He's a very talented and a very smart racer there, Curtis.
Yeah, and battle for 8th position, it looks like. The number 84 of Josh Tanner and Andrew Kessler side by side now, and Judd Danielson pretty much just nowhere to go unless he wants to make it 3 wide. He's riding right behind them, headed down into turn 1, and the inside is where I see people passing right now, so outside momentum's just not holding up right now as Danielson looks to get below Kessler now in turn 3.
Yes, that'll happen a lot of times in these trucks here at Charlotte. You basically can hold them wide open, Curtis, what you say, for the first 5 or 6 or 7 laps on brand new tires, but then you got to start lifting a little bit in the corners. And when the trucks are running side by side like Andy Kessler and Josh Tanner are right now, if you're behind that group, unless you want to be really brave and it's kind of too early in the race to do that, you just kind of stuck following the leader, so to speak.
Yeah, no, Tanner can't quite get clear. Kessler's making that outside line work quite a bit right now, and I think the tires, as the tires wear, that outside line is going to become more and more competitive. Tanner gets clear of Kessler that time, and Danielson not quite to the quarter of Kessler as they head down to turn 1, but Kessler drives it deep in there and almost gives Tanner a shove, and that will allow Danielson to maybe get the run on him, but these guys are running tight right now.
Yes, and back up front, we still have William Hartman in the 67 Aegis Toyota Tundra leading the race. We have William Lochner in that Monster Energy Silverado number 4 in 2nd. He had the pole position, led quite a few laps up front early. Dustin Lee has moved himself all the way up to 3rd position. Dustin started back in 4th. The practice time was in 8th, so he's having a great run tonight as we see 3 wide in the backstretch. It looks like that was Tim B. Cox in the 19. He's got the AJJuniorAuto.com Chevy Silverado moving to the front. He's up to 6th position right now. Tim started, looks like in 8th. He's gained 2 positions.
And Craig Lerman side by side with Ricky Lake for that 17th position. It looks like Lerman gets a little bit wiggly headed down into turn 1. Oh, he's getting tight, and it looks like the 63 of Charles Morrow is going to look to go below him, as well as the 14 of Gary Weston.
Yeah, it looks like Tim Rangers in that 70 is running in 14th position. Real quick, Tim started in 14th. Like you said earlier, his wife Michelle sponsors for him. A couple quick facts on Tim.
Oh, and Jeremy Crandall gave Ricky Lake a little bit of a shove there as they got by the lap car of Gary Sexton. Ricky Lake went to check up in that 7 machine. He went to check up a little bit into turn 1, and Crandall didn't really get the memo, I guess, and just gave him a little bit of a bump, got him a little bit wiggly, made the pass on him for that 20th position, and he's looking to pass Gary Weston now. And any other battles you see throughout the field, Robert?
Yes, it looks like the leaders first through. Go ahead.
Judd Danielson and Gerald Campbell, they're going almost 3 wide. Campbell's looking for a way by the number 3 of Mark Jackson. Danielson makes it by Jackson. He gets clear, and Gerald Campbell in that 6 machine looks below him, and as well, it looks like Jeff T. Martin ducking into the picture there.
Yes, Gerald Campbell does clear Martin Jackson in the 03. That'll move Gerald Campbell up to 9th position. He's in that number 6. He's getting a big run here on Judd Danielson. He looks to the inside, going down across the front stretch, across the start-finish line. Looks like Gerald Campbell will probably take that position, taking the low line as he does clear Judd Danielson, diving it hard into turn 1.
Yeah, that Gearhead Gaming Chevrolet, it's been quick all season as we're here at Charlotte for race 5, and looks like the number 3 of who's in the number 3 there, Mark Jackson. He's a newcomer last week, so I'm not quite used to him yet, but he looked to get below Judd Danielson there, and then the number 51 of James Ross went to his outside, and he's looking to make the pass on him now. So outside line maybe coming into play a little bit here as Danielson fends him off, and Ross makes the pass on him on the outside. So maybe we're starting to see the outside line work a little bit now.
Yes, and James Ross started in 17th. He's driving that Sirius XM Satellite Toyota Tundra, the number 51. Some quick stats on James. James is out of Ridgefield, Connecticut. His main sponsor race team is Aegis Motorsports. Sponsors are PowerTech, Power Solutions, Aegis Motorsports, and Norwalk Karting Association. Real quick, he's been racing here for 6 years. He's been doing some real-world racing as well. He's got a lot of accomplishments. He's a multiple-time champion at the Nassau Quarter Midget Association. He's got the Eternal Track record holder. The track closed in 1995. He was a 1979 national champ and 2-time winner of the Syracuse Invitational. Further than that, now he is crew chief for his son Jimmy, who is 12. His son Jimmy's got 3 national wins. Plus, Jimmy has won the King of Clones race out of Oakland Valley Speedway in 2015, a very, very prestigious race. And of course, James is supported by his lovely wife Leslie, and he's got 2 kids, Brooke and Jimmy.
Pretty cool there, Robert, as I was watching the number 84 of Josh Tanner and number 24 of Eric Stanford have quite the battle there for the 5th and 6th position. Tanner gets it for the time being, but they were right on Tim Cox's bumper, and then they started to battle a bit, and now they single filed out. So tires are starting to wear a little bit because, I mean, when you can run flat out, it doesn't really matter if you're side-by-side or not. You can still stay at somebody's bumper, and they fell off a little bit there. So look at flag pit stops probably within the next 10 to 20 laps. I'm not sure how many guys are going to have enough. We've been green since I think lap 9, so if we can make it another 10 to 15 laps, I think that's when you're going to see guys starting to run out and have to pit. Maybe even the guys that didn't pit at all, they might have to start to come down within the next 5 laps.
Yes, sir. We are going to be covering some green flag pit stops here in just a few minutes. Hopefully, Curtis, like we said, usually have a couple quick cautions at the beginning of our races, then we have a long green flag run. It definitely looks like the trucks are strung out all around this 1.5 mile over here at Charlotte. Again, I just wanted to remind everybody you are watching the AJ JuniorAuto.com 200. AJ Junior Auto is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Jace Jamil is the owner. Quote, our customers can count on quality used cars, great prices, and a knowledgeable sales staff. He's been working down there for almost a decade with thousands of satisfied customers. We got some side-by-side battling right here for 4th and 5th. Looks like Tim B. Cox is going to be losing a position to Josh Tanner in that 84 machine. Josh Tanner completes that pass in the Toyota Tundra, and he moves himself up to 4th position. Yeah, it's obvious now, Curtis, a lot of the guys, the tire wear is definitely showing them ones who drove hard early in this run and the ones who didn't pit early. They're showing a real fall-off on the tires and their lap times.
Yeah, and trying to look at the lap times this time by to see if Dustin Lee gains any on William Hartman. He made the pass on Locklear last time by, so he probably would have lost a little bit of time there. Had some clean air this time, and he lost 3/10. So, I mean, Hartman's still the fastest truck on the track right now throughout the green flag run, and Yeah, the tires are definitely starting to wear quite a bit, and I am listening in on the driver's radio chat to see when they are calling out their pit stops, and we'll follow them in as they call it out.
Yes, right now I don't see many side-by-side battles. Curtis, you raced on this track in the trucks last year. How many times did you win at Charlotte?
I think just once, maybe twice. I'm not sure. I think I might have got a win in the Cup Series there, or maybe 2 wins in the Truck Series. I think I have 2 wins there overall, maybe just 1 in the Trucks. But yeah, I know I did win the very first truck race at Charlotte last year, so that was our opening race of the season. It wasn't the 5th race of the season, as we have drivers coming down pit lane. Heard some pit stops calling out there.
Yes, I'm going to follow the 19 of Tim B. Cox coming down pit road as we speak. He's in that 19 truck, the AJJuniorAuto.com Chevrolet Silverado. He's making his way down pit road. He's going to be pulling into his pit stall right in front of the 84. Looks like he gets in his pit stall very clean. We'll see what he does here. Looks like the right side's going up. He's going to get 2 Goodyear Eagles on the right side as 1 can of Sunoco fuel goes in. Jacking up the left side, getting 2 more Goodyear Eagles as the 2nd can of Sunoco fuel goes in. Jack is down and he is away. Looks like he will hopefully gain a position here on this pit stop. Who'd you see, Curtis?
I'm keeping an eye on the number 67 Aegis Motorsports Toyota Tundra of William Hartman. He's yet to come down pit lane, and he's the leader, so I mean, the more time he stays out, the more time he's going to lose to these guys on fresher tires, but maybe he feels confident doing so because he's pretty much the fastest truck on the track no matter what. So right now he's stayed out at least 2 extra laps than that number 19 of Eric Stanford, who is riding in 4th or 5th position. Dustin Lee and William Locklear are still out there on the track as well. So the top 3 have still yet to pit, but a lot of guys behind them have began to come in.
Yes, sir. Another driver who came in and got 4 fresh Goodyears is Andy Kessler in that 98. He is running now in 27th position. He will actually be, looks like, 1 lap down. So actually he's 3 laps down. Other drivers that are 1 lap down: Gene Cullum, Josh Tanner, Tim B. Cox, who made a pit stop. Ray Richard made a pit stop, looks like. Ivan Garcia, Jeff T. Martin. Like I said, these guys are definitely hoping for this cycle to run through, so all the leaders have to make a pit stop. Otherwise, they're going to be trapped a lap down, which is not what you want to have happen, is it, Curtis?
No, right now it looks like 20th on back would be trapped a lap down, but as the run goes on, some of these guys are going to have a little bit more fuel because there was 2 cautions right at the beginning. They could have been either saving fuel, or they could have pitted on that 2nd caution or the 1st one and made it that their run was a little bit longer than that 37 lap window that I said. As the leader of William Hartman is coming down pit lane now.
Also here that the 77 of Craig Learman, Gary Weston in the 14, they're also pitting. If you'll cover one of those, Curtis, I'll keep an eye on the leader here.
Yeah, it looks like Hartman is headed all the way down to that pit stall, 3rd from the 1st stall, and he pulls it in there nice and easy, and right sides are up on that Aegis Motorsports number 67 Toyota Tundra. He's revving it up. He's ready to go. Left sides are up, and the jack is down. Hartman is off and away. We'll see where he comes out here when the cycle's out. He's on the apron here in turns 1 and 2, getting ready to head back up on the track.
Yes, Dustin Lee came down right behind him. I think he might have led that 1 lap, and the leader who has inherited the lead, James Ross, in that 51, he has inherited the lead. He is running in 1st position now. Again, he's got to be the biggest gainer. He started all the way back in 17th, and he is leading the race right now. And he is the winner from last week. No, excuse me, not last week. He's already got a win in the series.
Oh, and the 84 of Josh Tanner in the grass a little bit, passing the 07 of Tyler Chalk there.
Looks like we're going to stay green here. This is a pretty treacherous time in the race, Curtis. We've got trucks that are running slow, trucks that are running fast on brand new rubber. So they've got to be very aware of their surroundings, and the fast trucks are catching up to them. It is great that we haven't had an issue right now with the difference in speeds, it's about 3 miles an hour here at Charlotte. 2.5 to 3 miles an hour on fresh rubber compared to tires that have got the 30, 35 laps on them. You definitely notice that when you're in the truck, don't you, Curtis?
Yeah, and it's almost hard to do that transition from older tires to newer tires and still be fast on the newer tires. But right now is when, if there was a caution, things would be shaken up a lot, because the number 67 of William Hartman is scored in the 11th position, 1 lap down, and there are only 7 trucks on the lead lap right now. So I'm assuming that those are the guys that all haven't pitted just yet, and that would be the number 51 of James Ross, the 07 of Tyler Chalk, the 21 of Richard Dix, the 73 of Jeremy Crandall, all still on the lead lap. And there, it looks like a lot of the other guys are deciding to come down pit lane right now. James Ross in the 51 from the lead, headed down pit lane.
Yes, if you cover him real quick, we'll see how he's going. I heard that the 7 of Ricky Lake is out of gas. That's probably going to hurt him unless he's really close to pit road.
And James Ross slides it into his pit box nicely there. The right sides are up on that Sirius XM radio, number 51 Toyota Tundra. The left sides are now up. And we'll see where this cycles through, where James Ross ends up in comparison to our previous leader of William Hartman, because Hartman was a lap down just a second ago, but that's what'll happen when these guys pit. And Hartman, he pitted pretty late compared to some of these guys too, so I'm really interested to see where the 19 of Tim Cox ends up in comparison to that 51 of James Ross, because 19 was almost the first one to call itself down pit road, and the 51 was pretty much one of the last ones that was running up front. So
yes, Curtis, we just saw a very clean truck in the 51. I'm going to take us to Gary Sexton. He was running in that 17 Hex Cam Chevrolet Silverado. He was involved in an earlier accident. I just want to give you some brief information on Gary. He's pulling off the pit road now. He got 4 Goodyear Eagles. Gary is an example of a fighter. He came into this race, started 19th, got involved in an accident on that very first lap. He was running 4 laps down. He is maintaining. Gary is from Colorado Springs, Colorado. His race team is Cross Continent Racing. His sponsors are Paradigm Technology, Hex Cam, Seasons Pizza, Overdrive Raceway Karting. He's got a family supporting him in this league, in this series, and we're definitely happy to have him here. Hopefully he will end up getting a good finish by staying out here and complete as many laps as he can.
yeah, and it looks like Jeremy Crandall was actually the last one to stay out. He just brought his truck down pit lane last time by, which cycles the 67 of William Hartman back into the lead, and the 84 of Josh Tanner is the next truck back. He is 2.5 seconds back in that number 84 machine, and Dustin Lee in third. He's 4.6 seconds off the lead pace, with Tim Cox in 4th position, 5 seconds off the lead pace. So these guys are really getting spaced out as these green flag runs go on, and we have 18 trucks still on the lead lap, and we'll see if any more cycle on back onto the lead lap, as Jeremy Crandall is just coming back out onto the track. So
yeah, William Hartman, like you said, does inherit the lead here. Tim Rangers, who is a lap down, I was talking about him earlier. He is definitely racing in that number 70 Chevrolet Silverado. It is the Align Remote Control Chevrolet Silverado. Tim is from Cincinnati, Ohio. We've talked about him before. His wife Michelle is his spotter. It's a great husband-wife team. OneWorldRacing.com is another one of his sponsors, and Tim has got a famous history in motocross before he got into racing these trucks.
oh, and I just saw a battle with the 24 of Eric Stanford and the 4 of William Locklear. They're side by side, and it looked like there's a little bit of contact into turn 3, and Locklear got a little bit wiggly. I'm not sure if he just overdrove the turn or if there was a little bit of contact, but
we got a spinner on the. Looks like he's able to save it. Andy Kessler. Looks like he had a little bit of contact, help from behind. We do stay green. I'm going to bring this back up and just give you a quick summary of what happened. Looks like they were almost 3 wide. The 98 of Andrew Kessler, the 67 of William Hartman, and the 21 of Richard Dix.
Yeah, and Hartman loses a lot of time on that. His truck still looks clean, but that pulls Josh Tanner right back up to the back bumper of that number 67 machine. And all that time that the 67 machine just worked on that last green flag pit stop, it's now gone with no lap car. I didn't see what happened, but obviously lap car is slowing him down, and
Yeah, the lap car.
Bumper now.
Yeah, got slowed him down just a tad. He was not able to roll the truck up enough. Just got into the back of the 98 a little bit. Andy made an incredible save in that 98 truck and was able to maintain himself. He lost a couple of positions, but he still got plenty of opportunity to make that time back up in this race.
Yeah, and, that's going to pull everybody a lot closer, actually. Dustin Lee, he was 4 seconds back. He's now 1.7 back, so 1.6 now, so a lot closer than he was, and that makes this a little bit more interesting as this race goes on here on to lap 58. What do we have? 9-10 laps here left, Robert, for the free pizza giveaway. Who do we have in for picks? We've been green for a long time here, so haven't really had time to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks, Curtis, for mentioning that. Again, fans, just so you do have a chance, we got 8 laps left. All you have to do to win your free 3-topping large Domino's pizza is text 919-883-7497, or if you're watching the race on the chat, you can pick your winner. The first fan to accurately pick the winner before halfway, which is in about 8 laps, wins the free large 3-topping pizza. Any city in the United States of America, carry out only. We have got Dustin Lee has been picked, Mark Jackson's been picked, Ray Richards has been picked. He was having technical issues with his electrical boxes in his truck. He had to park his truck, so Ray is unfortunately out. And so, fans, you've got a lot of drivers to pick from. We will update you at the end of the race on who wins this free pizza.
And looking for battles on the track right now. The most interesting one looks to be for 21st and 22nd with Jeremy Crandall and Ricky Lake in the 73 and the number 7. And they've got 9th position, Mark Jackson trying to get by them. So things are getting a little bit hairy. Judd Danielson's right on the back bumper and Mark Jackson as well. So those guys are all trying to make their way through traffic.
Yeah, I was going to take us through the field real quick after those pit stops. Everything's kind of settled down here, Curtis. I'm going to start with the leader, William Hartman. He has led a lot of laps here. He is running first in that Aegis number 67 Toyota Tundra. Talked about him already. Running second, we have Josh Tanner. He's in that iRacer Digest 84 Toyota Tundra. He's having a great run. Running third, we have the 32 of Dustin Lee. He's in that Chevrolet Silverado. He's been up front pretty much all night. Running fourth, we have our race-sponsored truck, AJ Junior Autos of 10B Cox in the 19 running fourth. Running fifth, we have Eric Stanford in the main performance PC Toyota Tundra. And we have a spin in the front stretch, 2 trucks spinning down pit road. Looks like the 98 of Andy Kessler got into the 24 of Eric Stanford. It looks like we're staying green, right, Curtis?
Yeah, and Dustin Lee is really putting a charge on right now in that number 32 machine. He's gained almost 0.7 of a second on William Hartman since Hartman had that little bobble with the number 98 of Kessler, and he's looking to make the pass on Josh Tanner now, who's been gaining rapidly on in the number 84. He clears him headed down to turn 1 and sets his sights on the number 67 of William Hartman.
Yeah, that's a great move. That's a great move by Dustin Lee to move up to second. I tell you what, he is a good pick. Someone's already picked him for the win in that free pizza, fans. But he definitely knows how to manhandle one of these trucks and keep the tires under it. I'm going to go back to where we left off there in the running through the field real quick. We just talked about 10B Cox. Eric Stanford went down pit road, made some stops. William Locklear in that Monster Energy Chevrolet Silverado is running 5th. We've got James Ross in the 51 Cirrus XM Satellite Toyota Tundra running 6th. 7th, we have Gerald Camber. Like you said earlier, he's been having great races all season long. He's in that Gearhead Gaming Chevrolet Silverado. Mark Jackson is running in 8th. He's in that famous number 3 truck. That's the acrylic art. Beautiful truck there, guys. Running 9th, we have Judd Danielson. Haven't talked much about Judd. He's maintaining here in 9th position. He's in the Domino's pizza truck. Running 10th, we have Jeff T. Martin in that atopgamers.com Chevrolet Silverado. He's having another good run. Youngster to our series hadn't been around but about 4 or 5 weeks. A newcomer, Tyler Chalk, is in that 07 Toyota Tundra. He is running in 11th, having a really good run tonight. Looks like he started all the way back in 25th, Curtis. He might be our biggest mover right now.
Yeah, and the 32 of Dustin Lee is still mounting a charge. He shaved off another 3/10 since he went back through the field there, and we'll see how much time he gains this time by. He doesn't gain much, only about 3/1000ths of a second there, so basically identical lap times for Hartman and Lee last time by there. Maybe Lee is starting to burn his tires off a little bit, and Hartman is stronger towards the back half of this fuel run. Gonna take a look and see exactly when it was that Hartman pitted.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and continue through the field. In 13th place, we have Gene Cullum. He's in that Interstate Battery sponsored 76 Toyota Tundra. Real quick, some history on Gene. He is from Hendersonville, North Carolina, just up the road from where I live. His team is the Johnson Lawler Motorsports team. His sponsors are IRAPS, Interstate Batteries, and he's been in racing here for three different years. He's having a great run. Happy Gene's part of our series.
Yeah, so Hartman pitted on 44, Lee pitted on 45. So Lee has 1 lap fresher tires, and Hartman did have a 2.5 second lead. We saw that get dissipated quickly when he got into the number 98 of Andrew Kessler, and Lee has brought the gap inside half a second here as they head around turns 3 and 4, and I'm just not sure what's going on with Hartman. His truck looks fine, and maybe I don't know, he just got out of the rhythm after that. He was the fastest truck on the track that entire run the time before. They're on the back half of this fuel run. They're going to have to pit within the next 10 laps probably, and Lee's catching them, so surprising for me. Dustin Lee in that Olive Hill Welding Chevrolet Silverado, hard charging on the 67 Aegis Motorsports machine.
Yeah, thanks, Curtis. It's one of two things. Either Will Hartman suffered a little bit of front-end damage when he made contact with the 98 about 15-20 laps ago, or he's predicting this is going to be another long green flag run before the next pit stop. He's just trying to save some tires. That could be what it is.
And now that you say that, I do see a little bit of a buckle on the left front of Hartman's hood, so I looked hard and I couldn't see the damage before, but I see it now, and yeah, it all makes a little bit more sense now. It's even those two trucks out a little bit more.
Yes, sir. Another new driver in our series I want to mention real quick, Charles Morrow, He's in that 63 Zombie Apocalypse Toyota Tundra. He is running in 11th. He's having a great run tonight. Jack Watts has moved himself up to 12th position. He's in that 66 Southeast Motorsports. And we do have pit stops occurring right now. Looks like Mark Jackson, the number 3, is on the pit road. Andy Kessler is on pit road. These guys must be decided to split the rest of the race in half and go ahead and get their 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles and their last 2 Kansas Sunoco fuel in case we end up going green to the end. What do you think the chances of that are, Curtis?
Well, we've been green for about over 60 laps here, so I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but we had those first 2 cautions, then everybody kind of settled down, and there's a lot of guys that are not near other trucks on the track now, so as long as there's not something like what we saw with the 67 of Hartman and the 98 of Kessler lap cars, just not being up to speed and getting in the way kind of thing, I think these guys can make it to the end. They're still gonna have to make. We're in the middle of a green flag cycle right now. Pit stops. Most of the leaders have still been out here, but they're gonna have to pit this time within the next 5 to 10 laps, and then once more as well.
Okay, so 2 more pit stops. You're right. We're on lap 76. Obviously, the bidding is closed for the free large pizza. We'll definitely update that before the end of the race. We do have Dustin Lee still leading. So it's going to be an interesting strategy here, Curtis. Like we said, we had a couple of cautions early in the race, and we have run some 60, almost 70 laps here on the green flag. We've had a pit stop sequence. We're having another one. A lot of trucks have already come down a second time for fuel and tires. So it's really going to be interesting to see if these leaders try to stretch it and make it on. This pit stop coming up and then one more.
Yeah, Hartman has came down pit lane.
That leaves Dustin Lee out there by himself then as the leader.
Yeah, and Hartman pulls what Dustin Lee did the last time and short pits him. So keep an eye on Dustin Lee and see what he does here, how long he decides to stay out on the track.
Yes, we're right along with Dustin Lee right now. He's down the back stretch. Have not heard any team communication about pitting this time. It does not look like he's making his way down for a pit stop. Although, just as I say that, he is hugging the white line. It looks like he is going to go ahead and pass pit road entry. So Dustin Lee in the 32 will make another lap leading this race. And don't look now, but in second position, it looks like James Ross has inherited that second position. He led quite a few laps before the last pit stops. He's in that 51 machine. So this strategy is definitely going to be interesting. Like we said before, winning one of these races is very difficult. You've got to have a great truck. You've got to have a great driver, great crew chief, a great spotter. You've also got to have perfect strategy and perfect pit stops. And then the last thing you've got to have, Curtis, is a little bit of luck. And it looks like James Ross is coming down now. I'm going to follow him down pit road. And let me know if Dustin Lee is still on the track.
Will do. It looks like Dustin Lee is going to pass. Oh, no, sorry. That's headed down the backstretch. But one thing I want to note is Josh Tanner in that number 84 machine. He's riding in 10th right now. He pitted on lap 68, and he was running inside the top 5. So I'm curious to see where he's going to end up when this green flag's pit cycles. Oh, and Dustin Lee is saving fuel. Maybe he's trying to make it as far as he can and maybe just make one more pit stop. I never really thought about that, but
he does have a 7-second lead over second place William Locklear and all these other trucks. We're talking about Dustin Lee in the 32 is saving fuel. He might be planning, his strategy might be to make only one more pit stop. As James Ross came off the pit road, he's sitting down the back stretch. Dustin Lee does, like you said, Curtis, have a 7-second lead over William Locklear. We'd have to get the calculator out. I'm sure his crew chief has probably already burned through one calculator figuring out if he can make it on just one more pit stop. That would put a lot of trucks down the lap. Right now we only have 6 trucks, Curtis, on the lead lap, and that would be Charles Morrow in the 63.
Yeah, and I don't know about Dustin Lee's calculations here because looks like he last came down pit lane on lap 45. So unless he believes that these guys can make it around 45 laps on fuel, then there's just no way he's going to make it to the end. And I don't know if that's possible. I think 40 is kind of the high end of what you can go here. He's coming on to lap 39 of this fuel run right now as he crosses the start-finish line onto lap 84. So he's still clutching it every time he heads down into turn 1, and he's letting everybody by him. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe he thinks that that's what other people are going to be doing, and this is what he has to do to maintain the lead, because if he can pull this off, that's going to put him out there even farther. But, I mean, if he can't, then that's just going to throw the win away. As he gets into the wall, headed out of turns 3 and 4, and he's in the grass into pit lane, and into the pit lane wall hard. Dustin Lee.
And we stay green. What a big change of events, and this changes everything, Curtis. He might have been trying to save fuel. He is in his pit box. The right side tires are going up. He's getting the 2 cans of snow-cool fuel, so if he was trying to make it on one more pit stop, I think it just ruined it. Plus, he's going to have some damage. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he's got some damage. He got an unsafe pit entry there because he cut across the grass. He's going to have a penalty to serve. He's going to have damage. That just basically ruined the 32 of Dustin Lee's night, and yeah, I'm going to say he's got no chance in this one now.
I tell you what, I was talking about luck just a minute ago. All the key factors, there's about 6, 7, 8 of them. The luck factor, came up and bit Dustin Lee in the you-know-what with unluck, because that's exactly what just happened, and that's going to put...
Gerald Campbell is in the lead now in the number 6 machine, and Tyler Chalk, the scoring is not settled out yet since Lee went into the fence there, so how far? He's 12 seconds back of Gerald Campbell, so Gerald Campbell now is a 12-second lead, and Josh Tanner is 22 seconds back as well, so I'm going to take a look and see when Campbell last pitted.
And he's coming down pit road now, I think. I just heard team communications.
Yeah, he is, yeah, he wants to make it on one stop as well, and he pitted, I'm going to check and see when he pitted last here. He pitted on lap 46, so that's only 4 laps, and that's not enough to make it to the end. So I don't know, Gerald Campbell. I don't think you got enough to make it to the end, and I think Tyler Chalk is on the same strategy here. I'm going to take a look.
Yeah, I tell you what, while check out that information, one thing this has definitely done, we were down to only 4 trucks on the lead lap. With Gerald pitting at that point and Dustin having his issue, we now have 13 trucks on the lead lap. So it looked like maybe what these guys were trying to do, Curtis, was trap all these drivers a lap down, make their pit stop, be able to get back out and still have the lead, and it just did not work. Although Gerald Campbell is probably going to have the lead, although it's going to be interesting to see. Tyler Chalk, I think, is coming down pit road as well.
Yeah, so your top 4 actually have not pitted. Well, sorry, yeah, they just started pitting, but Josh Tanner's still out on the track. He's the last. Him and Tim Cox are the last ones out there on the track on that strategy to try and make it on one more stop. So they're still going to have, we'll see if they come down this time by. Tim Cox is 2 seconds back of Josh Tanner, and Tanner bypasses it again, so I'm going to ride along and see if he's saving fuel with Josh Tanner here. He is not really clutching, and neither is Tim Cox, so they're leading right now. From when they pitted before, I think they can make it on one more stop.
Well, that's definitely going to hurt the guys that already pitted, have to make another pit stop. So it does look like, unless we have a big change-up in this race, as far as near the end, the winner of this race is not going to be who we were thinking. And while we're talking about, go ahead.
Sorry, so this is going to be interesting because I think that the 84 of Josh Tanner and the 19 of Tim Cox, I think they can both make it on one more stop on fuel. William Hartman, he's in a different boat. He pitted about 15 laps ago now, so he's going to have to pit once more because these guys are, Josh Tanner and Tim Cox are going to be right on the edge of the fuel window as it sits, and yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see if Hartman has enough speed with that extra pit stop and just being able to go a little bit faster than them the entire time. Whether that's going to pay off versus the longer fuel load. I think it's going to be the fuel load. What about you, Robert?
If we stay green, it's going to be what it is, but I have got a feeling we might get one more caution in here. And while we're talking about this, I wanted to highlight one other driver, Curtis. Eric Stanford in that 24 Toyota Tundra. This is his, I think, his first race in the Dented Fender Truck Series. He is a regular member of our league. He races the Xfinity car and the Top Shelf Cup car. Eric Stanford is from Glenfield, New York. He is racing for Team ES Motorsports. His main sponsor is ES Billiards. He's got a beautiful orange and white Toyota Tundra. Another one of his sponsors looks like his main performance PC. So we're happy to have Eric Stanford in the race tonight. And by the way, he was having a great run earlier, qualified 9th. I think the pit strategy has bid him, and he's 2 laps down in 20 seconds.
Yeah, and I think I was given some wrong information there. It looks like Josh Tanner actually pitted on lap 69, and sorry, who's having a brain fart here? The other
Gerald Campbell?
No, Tim Cox up there in the 19. He pitted on lap 68 as well. So these guys can make it on one more stop, and let me just go back and look at the 67 here and make sure how screwed up I had things. So,
all right, what you?
He cannot make it on one more stop. So Or
He's
yeah,
definitely going to have to pit.
make it on one more stop. I'm getting things all jumbled up here.
That's okay.
Everybody should be able to make it on one more stop here.
While you're talking about that, we do have some side-by-side action right now. We have the 7 of Ricky Lake and Gary Sexton in the 14 K&N. We haven't talked about Gary Weston a lot. My bad, fans. He's in the 14 K&N sponsored truck. We mentioned him earlier. He is making a pass right now on the 7 of Ricky Lake. They are both putting some serious heat on Tim B. Cox in that 19 AJJuniorAuto.com sponsored truck. They are still side by side as they cross the start-finish line. And since we've had such a long green flag run, I want to mention one more time the sponsor of the race in that 19 truck. It is AJJuniorAuto.com out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Jace Jamil is the owner. He's been in business down there for almost a decade, has got over thousands and thousands of satisfied customers. So if you're ever in the Charlotte area, make sure you visit him. Quote, our customers can count on quality used cars, great prices, and a knowledgeable sales staff.
And yeah, now that I got the pit cycle thing figured out, these guys they're going to be coming down pretty soon for their final pit stop. They're inside the fuel window to make it. They're coming on to lap 98 here, so we got 36 to go this time by, and yeah, that means these guys can make it to the end on fuel. And now it's just, how long do I stay out? Is there going to be a caution? Am I going to get trapped a lap down? Do I just stay out and hope for a caution, or like now is when things get interesting. And the 19 of Tim Cox from the 3rd position is pitting this time by.
Yes, if you'll cover him down pit road.
Or Josh Tanner calls his line down pit road as well. He does not want to get short pitted.
Yeah, I was just
in that gap.
Yeah, I was just going to say, some guys at this point in the race are going to try to short pit because they are in their fuel window, but these other guys have got the fear in the back of their mind, what if the caution comes out? So it's a big risk. It's a big trade-off. Do I pit now from the lead or the top 5? Do I stay out as long as I can and have the freshest rubber for the end of this race? Curtis, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure you would have the best.
Tanner overshoots his pit box.
Oh my goodness. So he's going to back up. That's going to cost him 2 or 3 seconds.
That is probably gonna, I'm gonna say, Tim Cox looked like he gained a little bit on entry to that, so curious to see if the 19 gets out before, and he does. He gets out way before the 84.
So that means he's going to at least gain that one position, and he's going to have the fresher tires as he's going to make his way around the 7 of Ricky Lake as they scream down the backstretch here. And that's going to leave William Hartman in the lead as we speak with that little bit of damage. But we've seen William drive a damaged truck before, Curtis. He can drive a damaged truck. He can drive a truck with old tires, new tires, a full fuel cell, an empty fuel cell. William Hartman can get it done. It would not surprise me to see him pull off this victory. He does have a 7-second lead over William Locklear and Mark Jackson, but there's still going to be some strategy coming in. Go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, I think that Hartman maybe is just hoping for a caution now, and because it seems like he can fend pretty much everybody else off except for Josh Tanner and maybe Tim Cox in that number 19 machine there. So I'm not sure if he's just staying out there hoping for a caution. I know he doesn't want to stay out there too long and lose too much time to these guys on the, as he calls this, way down pit lane this time by on lap 103. So he's going to have about 4 lap newer tires than Tanner and Tim Cox as the race comes to a close.
Yes, we've got some heated battles here. It looks like we have the 63 of Charles Morrow underneath the 14 K&N truck of Gary Weston. They are making some headway towards Judd Danielson in that 85. It looks like Jeremy Crandall's got a little bit fresher rubber in that 73. He's already got around that group of trucks.
Yeah, Hartman takes 2 tires actually.
And he's off. He's off of pit road. That's going to save him some time. Will that 2-tire stop be the winning strategy, Curtis?
Yeah, that's going to save him at least a couple seconds, and I'm sure he only took as much fuel as he needed, which would be 30 laps. So
and here comes Tim B. Cox right now down the backstretch. But Tim B. Cox would have been a lap down to William Hartman with the pit cycle, as it looks like. So with William Hartman taking 2 tires, it looks like that pass that Tim B. Cox just made is not going to put him ahead of him, or is it?
Just the way the scoring goes here is Hartman was in the lead, and it was still scoring him in the lead until the next time he passed by the eventual leader passed by the line. So
the question will be, can William Hartman gain any ground now that he is behind Tim B. Cox? That could be the battle for the win of this race.
Yeah, I'm sure Hartman probably wanted to come out at least a couple seconds ahead of Tim Cox and Josh Tanner and hope that they didn't have anything for him, but it looks like Tim Cox got around him, and Josh Tanner did have that issue on pit lane, so he is back.
Sorry, Curtis, the second place truck of Mark Jackson and the number 3 is running down pit road right now. I'm going to follow his pit stop to see if he gets 2 tires as well. This strategy is really going to come into place as who's going to win this race. He's only going to get as much fuel as he needs. Right sides are up. 2 Goodyear Eagles on the right side. 1 can of Sunoco fuel is in. Oh, Mark is going to take 4 tires here. He's going to shock all of us and get 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco fuel. He's off pit road. That could be the winning move. Sorry, Curtis.
Yeah, and it looks like Hartman gets by Tim Cox there for the 8th position, but I think that's going to cycle back into what will be the lead. So keep an eye on those 2.
And William Locklear, the number 4 Monster Energy truck, just called out. He's coming down pit road. I'm going to follow him down pit road as well. He's the leader currently. Obviously, somebody will inherit the lead. This will be interesting to see. Will William Locklear take 2 or will he take 4 tires? I tell you what, Curtis, I've never had the opportunity to try to figure a race out like this one because we've got strategies changing almost every single lap. Who's going to inherit the lead, looks like?
Still out on the track is the 15 of Jeff Martin. Is the 6 of Gerald Campbell still out there? He is, so Campbell is going to cycle back into the lead as Hartman brings his truck into the pole position pit stall. And
William Locklear, sorry, Curtis, takes 4 tires, another shocker. So these guys late in the race, Curtis taking 4 tires. William Locklear and the 3 truck, they're banking on this going green the rest of the way and these brand new tires being able for them to catch up to the guys with 2 tires like William Hartman or the guys who pitted way early in the cycle like Tim B. Cox. What do you think?
I don't know. It looks like Hartman is pulling a little bit on Tim Cox, even though he took 2 tires. I didn't see what Tim Cox took. I think you were covering his pit stop, but
he took 4.
Okay, so yeah, Hartman is out battling Tim Cox on 2 older left side tires there, and I'm curious to see if Jeff Martin is even going to take any tires when he comes down pit lane, because let's see when Gerald Campbell and Jeff Martin last pitted.
They are side by side. Are they side by side?
Side by side, and
they're battling for the lead, and they both have yet to make their last pit stop. Is that correct, Curtis?
Yeah, that's correct. They last pitted on, it looks like Campbell on 88 and Martin on, let's see here, on 79. So
there's about a 9-lap difference.
Yeah, Martin have to come down a lot sooner than Campbell here.
But we are getting close. We've got about 21 laps remaining in this race, so it's going to be between these 2 guys. They both have to pit, correct?
Yeah, I think they are both going to have to pit here, as well as Charles Morrow and Judd Danielson behind them.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Charles Morrow and Judd Danielson would be able to stretch to the end, but looks like everybody's got to pit one more time. So the eventual winner, if we stay green, Curtis, it's either going to be William Hartman. Of course, it's hard to call a winner this early, but it could either be William Hartman or Tim B. Cox.
Yeah, and right now Hartman is 7/10 ahead of that number 19 machine of Tim Cox, and yeah, a little bit of damage on that machine, but it's not seeming to affect him too much, as the only truck that really had much for him tonight was the 32 of Dustin Lee, who basically screwed his own race. So I mean, it's all.
Well, he actually had contact from behind.
I do think. Oh, did he? I thought.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he had a little bit of contact from behind. Just to correct you, I know it's hard to cover everything all the time with 2 of us.
With him when I saw that, and I thought he just shoved up into the wall. And
it looks like the Gerald Campbell's going out for one more lap, but behind him, Jeff T. Martin is on pit road here.
Yeah, I did not know that the 32 had some help when he went around there. I thought he just got up into the wall, got tight out of turn 4, but I was riding on board with him, and I wasn't watching the mirrors, so...
Yeah, no problem. He was running slow because he was saving fuel, and the truck from behind got a little bit of contact to him. They both got into the wall, and it sent him through the grass. But right now, Jeff T. Martin's on pit road. It looks like he's taking 4 tires as well. I am really, really surprised these drivers this late in the race. I guess they're thinking everybody else has got to pit one more time as well, and maybe we're doing the math wrong, Curtis.
Yeah, I know I was doing it wrong the first time, but I think I got it right the second time. Nobody else should have to pit really other than Gerald Campbell and Charles Morrow that's up front right now, so...
And Judd Danielson, or is he going to be able to make it to the end?
Danielson as well, sorry, yep, he can't make it to the end as well.
Yes, Gerald Campbell is making another lap here. Looks like the 70 of Tim Rangers is going to make a pit stop here. And I tell you what, we've definitely had a long green flag run here, Curtis.
Yeah, we have been green for about 108 laps now. So.
Since lap 9, I think, right?
Yeah, we had 2 quick cautions at the beginning of the race, and that was it so far. So don't want to jinx it, knock on wood. Hopefully we can run it down to the end here, although it might get a little bit more interesting if there was a caution to fly right now with Gerald Campbell leading the race.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got the 3 of Mark Jackson on the inside of Gene Caldwell making that pass, and in front of Mark Jackson we have the 4 of William Locklear. Both these drivers came down pit road at a similar time. They are battling for, looks like 8th and 7th position, but they're definitely going to inherit some time. And it looks like Judd Danielson is on the apron. He probably just made a pit stop we missed.
Yeah, Judd Danielson did go down pit lane there. He's going to cycle back into the 12th or 13th position, it looks like. Gerald Campbell's still out on the track with 15 laps to go. I really don't think he can make it on fuel. Like I said, the last time he pitted was 88, so that's almost 50 laps, and I think that's just a little bit too far to go for this truck. Although,
unless he's a genius on saving fuel, we've seen some drivers in NASCAR do it, and it'll be a big shocker. Looks like he's got a 3-second lead on William Hartman. He might be saving some fuel.
Yeah, and that gap is closing rapidly now, so I don't know if it's just the fresher tires or if Campbell's saving fuel. I'm riding on board with Campbell right now, and looks like he's not saving fuel, so he's probably planning on that one more pit stop, but the question is, how many tires is he going to take? Because if he can get in before Hartman and Cox pass him, he might just be able to get back out in decent position to give him something to battle for. So right now, Tim Cox and Hartman are still 0.6 away from each other. I noticed Tim Cox did have that gap down to under half a second for just a couple laps there, but we'll see if Hartman's 2 tires hold out here as the laps wind down, as I don't think the 6 machine can make it the remaining 13 laps that we have to go here.
Yes, he is definitely slowing down a little bit. Looks like the 73 of Jeremy Crandall is going to get around him on the outside as they cross the start-finish line. Also, the 70 of Tim Rangers looks like he's got fresh rubber. He's making a pass on the 9 of Chad Payne. Haven't talked about Chad much tonight. Chad is running in 9th position. He's actually having a really good run. Chad started all the way back in 21st. I tell you what, Chad's one of those drivers in the Office HQ truck that he'll sneak up on you. He'll have a great run right when you're not looking. He is 1 lap down, second truck a lap down, but he's having a terrific run in 9th position right now.
And Hartman is below the number 9 of Chad Payne, and that might lose him a bit of speed off this straightaway and allow the 19 of Tim Cox to pull back up. And I'm expecting the 6 to pit any time now, and that's going to cycle Hartman back into the lead, and with Tim Cox behind them. And Josh Tanner isn't too far behind Tim Cox as well. He's only 0.3 back, so the top is going to be within they're within 0.5 of each other right now, well, not counting Gerald Campbell, who's going to have to come down pit lane.
Yes, we have a gaggle of trucks here. We've got Jeremy Crandall, we've got William Hartman, we've got Chad Payne, we've also got Josh Tanner, Tim B. Cox, and on the inside of Tim B. Cox looks like Craig Learman in that 77 Caterpillar truck. We haven't talked about him much at all tonight. Craig Learman's having a good run. He is up to 10th position. That would be a great finish for him. He started all the way back in 24th. Craig Learman in that Caterpillar 77 Chevrolet Silverado is definitely giving a good run tonight.
And for that 67 of William Hartman, the 84 of Josh Tanner, and the 19 of Tim Cox, for these guys to be green flagged for over 115 laps now, with all the green flag pit stops we saw, everybody making it through traffic, for them to be within a second of each other right now, I don't know, that's pretty crazy if you think about it. Like, they've made 120 laps, all the green flag pit stops, the braking zones, the pit entries, and yeah, they're all within a second of each other right now, as William Hartman is within 9/10, under a second behind Gerald Campbell there in that number 6 machine. We only have 8 laps to go, and I'm beginning to think Campbell might be able to make it.
He is definitely slowing down just a little bit, but like you said, he's going to try to maintain that 1 second almost advantage over William Hartman, as it looks like Josh Tanner's looking at the outside of William Hartman here for a second. These guys behind him might be burning up their stuff trying to get to him. That might be exactly what Gerald Campbell is hoping for. And it looks like it'll be 3 wide going down the backstretch with Craig Learman, William Hartman, as Josh Tanner gets to the outside to take over that second position.
And Hartman gets slowed down quite a bit there, and Tanner gets by. Craig Learman in the 77 slows them down quite a bit, and this is exactly what Gerald Campbell wants. I'm still not sure if he can make it to the end. That's a 46 lap fuel run, and I've been keeping an eye on him, and I haven't seen him really clutching in the corners. He's been going a lot slower than he normally can, but I still just don't know about it.
Yes, good. Very interesting to see Gerald Campbell is slowing down just a little bit here, as looks like Josh Tanner is definitely gaining on him. Coming down the backstretch, it looks like he's down to a 6/10 of a second lead. And I tell you what, Curtis, I'm not a betting man, but I do not think Gerald Campbell's either going to be able to hold off Josh Tanner or be able to not run out of fuel here.
Yeah, the gap is just growing too quickly, 3/10 that last time by, and William Hartman, I just heard him over the radio, tires just couldn't hold on long enough on that number 67 machine, taking the 2 right sides at his last pit stop, so ultimately not the call that you needed to make, but it was worth the shot, as the 6 of Gerald Campbell has to come down pit lane this time. Is he going to... Now he gets it wound down to speed, and that's going to hand the lead over to the 84 of Josh Tanner.
And are we sure Josh has enough fuel here to make it the last 2 laps?
Yeah, Josh Tanner should be good on fuel here.
Yes, as we're winding down these last 2 laps, it's like Josh Tanner has got a handy lead. Actually, he's got about a second lead over William Hartman. Tim B. Cox is 2 seconds back. James Ross is having a great run, 2 seconds back. Again, fans, this has been an incredible 20, 25, 28 lap green flag run. As we're coming to 1 lap to go, Curtis, I'll let you run us through it.
Yeah, we're actually coming to popsicle sticks in the air this time by. It's going to be 2 to go, as they're 3 wide, headed down into turn 3 behind the leaders there.
Yes, everybody's fighting for every position they can. William Hartman is actually having to save fuel, or his truck is just not up to speed. Looks like Jeff T. Martin is going to gain a position up to 10th.
And it's going to be no contest there for Josh Tanner in the lead, as long as he can hold on to it and make no mistakes up front. But it looks like the 51 of James Ross might just have something for the second place driver of the 67 of William Hartman.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That battle is definitely heating up.
The white flag waves as Josh Tanner has 1 lap to go here from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And James Ross and William Hartman are side by side. They cross the start-finish line, diving it into turn 1 for the very last time. It looks like it's going to be a pretty easy win up front for Josh Tanner, but the battle here is going to be for second place, as James Ross actually has cleared the 67. So it looks like James Ross will get a podium position in second, and William Hartman in third, looks like. Congratulations, guys.
And checkered flag in the air. Josh Tanner takes the win here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 5th race on the season. 2nd win of the year for that number 84 machine of Josh Tanner. I know he won an Xfinity race. I'm not sure if this is 2nd truck win or not, but fireworks in the sky. And your winner is Josh Tanner tonight. James Ross makes the pass on Hartman for 2nd, and Hartman finishes 3rd tonight. What a race we just witnessed. Robert ran all the way from lap 9, green flag to the end.
Yes, that's amazing. If you will go through the top 20 or so, I'm going to go ahead and get these drivers up into for interviews, and I'll let you go through there.
Yeah, and our winner tonight in the Racers Digest Toyota Tundra, the number 84 of Josh Tanner, burning it down right now on the front stretch. He brings it to victory lane tonight. 51 of James Ross, late race charge. He started in 17th tonight. He makes his way all the way up to 2nd with last lap effort there. Pass on William Hartman, who finishes 3rd. Led a lot of laps tonight. Just in the end, didn't make the call. That sustained a little bit of damage and had to make a call to compensate for it, and just didn't work out for him. The 19 of Tim Cox, he finishes 4th tonight. William Locklear rounds out your top 5. Mark Jackson in the 3, he finishes 6th tonight. Another top 10 finish, his 2nd race in the Domino's TYJ Truck Series. So good run to him. And Jeff Martin, the last truck on the lead lap. Only 7 trucks on the lead lap finished on the lead lap tonight. He rounds out the trucks on your lead lap in the number 15, Jeff T. Martin. Jack Watts finishes 8th, 1 lap down. Gerald Campbell finishes 6th, 1 lap down. Judd Danielson rounds out your top 10. Jeremy Crandall finishes 11th. Charles Morrow in the number 63 finishes 12th. Gene Collum in the number 76 finishes in 13th, with Chad Payne in 14th. Craig Lerman in that 77 rounds out your top 15. Ricky Lake in the 7, he finishes 16th tonight. Young Tyler Chalk in the 07 machine finishes in 17th. Tim Rangers with his wife spotting. I love that. He finishes 18th tonight. James Somke in the 1 machine finishes 19th. And Michael Fravert in the 36 rounds out your top 20.
Thank you, Curtis. That is excellent. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our 3rd place driver, William Hartman, up into the broadcast booth. William, this is Robert. Congratulations. Another great run for you. You finished 3rd, qualified 3rd. You were 2nd in practice times. You had a good truck all night long. I want to ask you a couple quick questions. We noticed there you and the 98 had a little bit of contact earlier in the race. It looked like you may have sustained a little bit of front-end damage onto your truck's hood after that contact. Did that damage slow you down at all? We noticed you had lost a little bit of speed after that, or were you just saving fuel?
No, actually, that it did knock a little front end damage into it. Lost a lot of momentum. It kind of lost a little bit of the lead that we had built for the first segment. So unfortunately, yeah, it did slow me down a little bit. I thought we were still in really good shape, and then unfortunately, just a driving mistake on my part with the 32. I thought he was picking a different lane than he was. It was my fault, and that caused a little more front end damage. If that hadn't happened, I felt like we had a really, really strong truck all night. But fortunately, we were able to bounce back and get a 3rd place here. So we got to be pretty happy with that.
Yes, sir. That's definitely going to keep you high in the point standings. I know you missed that first race at Daytona. So you keep knocking off these top 3, top 5 place finishes, and I'm still confident you're going to get a handful of wins before the season's over. We got a long way to go. Congratulations, William. Who would you like to thank for this 3rd place finish?
I got to thank all the guys at Domino's TYJ for putting on great races for all of us, all the drivers here. And then Aegis Motorsports for all the help and support. Those guys help me every single week learn and get better and better every week. So can't thank them enough.
Well, thank you very much, William. Have a great weekend, and we will definitely talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
And I've caught up on pit road with the number 51 of James Ross. Brings it home in 2nd place tonight. James, you qualified in the 17th position. You were running, we saw you hard charge pretty much all night. You made your way up front. You made the pass on Hartman for 2nd place there on the last lap. Tell us about your race.
Well, we had a let's say subpar qualifying, but I'm never good at qualifying at this place for whatever reason. But we had a good truck. First run, I decided to, first real good green flag run there after the 2 early cautions. I decided to run it dry and run it out. A couple of times lately, we've been trapped a lap down by pitting early, and I mean, who would have guessed we'd go green flag from, what was it, lap 9 or 10 all the way to the finish. So, I mean, it was a great run, but that really, that probably cost me, 20, 30 seconds on the track. And, I needed I think I needed 2 at the end. So, I mean, Josh had a great run. I mean, he did a good job. William had a great run. I guess he had a little bit of damage. So he was having some aero difficulty at the end. Otherwise, he might have been able to put it in victory lane. But overall, it was a good run. I mean, it's nice to run one clean and green for that many laps.
Yeah, definitely. And so you think you had the truck to win if you maybe played your pit cycle a little bit differently. What about if there was a caution after the last pit cycle and everybody pitted and it was just going to be a dash to the end?
Oh, it would have been a good fight. I definitely could have put up a good fight. If I had 10 more laps, I could have put up a good fight. But sometimes the cards fall the way they do, and you can always say woulda, shoulda, coulda. But what happened is we got a second, and I'm happy to leave this place with a second place finish.
All right, James. Well, another good run for you tonight. Before we let you go, who would you like to thank for helping you get it to the track every week?
Oh, sure. Well, first off, I mean, I got to thank Domino's TYJ and the Dented Fenders Racing Series here. You guys always put on a great show. All Pro Broadcasting. Love what you guys are doing. Got to thank all my teammates over at Aegis Motorsports. Andy Kessler, William Hartman, Dave Washington keeping me calm throughout the race. Even Judd Danielson give me some words of encouragement going along. And of course, Mike Arditi, my spotter up in the stands. He's always there. He's a shy guy, but he does what he needs to for me. But without those guys, none of this happens.
All right. Well, congratulations, James. We're gonna let you go, and I think Robert has caught up in victory lane with our winner, the number 84 of Josh Tanner. Robert.
Yes, Josh Tanner. This is Robert and Curtis in the broadcast booth. Congratulations down there in Victory Circle. I'm with you here. The champagne is flowing. Congratulations. You had a great run tonight. Tell us about this race. How it went for you?
It was tiring. It's always fun to have long green flag runs like that, but it certainly is tiring. It was strong night. I'm definitely happy with coming home with a win, but I felt pretty confident going into the race that we were going to have some long green flag runs and that I should be able to. I only qualified 10th, so I knew I had a little bit of work to do, but I knew we'd get some long green flag runs and that would help me out.
Yeah, give us a real quick summary, Josh, on your strategy after that restart on lap 9. Did you pit during those first 2 cautions? Did you have to come back down? Did you short pit? Tell us what strategy, now that the race is over, helped you get this victory?
Well, I did not pit either one of those cautions. I decided to ride it out. I figured we'd have a couple more. I didn't think we'd go quite as long as we did. But then once I realized that this was going to be a long green flag run, I decided my best strategy was to pit before the leaders so that I could pick up some time on them. I thought that would be my best strategy. And it just so happened that I heard Tim right behind me, the 19, call out that he was pitting. So I decided to go ahead and just pit right then so that I was one of the first couple cars to pit so that I gained as much time as possible. And then that was kind of the strategy throughout the race, was pit ahead of the leaders so that I could gain that ground.
So if the caution would have come out later in the race, in other words, if we wouldn't have had that, especially the end of the race, the last 35, 40 laps, if the caution would have come out, that would have messed your strategy up completely.
It definitely would have, and that's what happened last week at Kansas. I kind of had the same strategy, pitted, and then about 3-4 laps later the caution came out. So I was a little wary of that, but I knew that was going to be the winning strategy, or at least get me a top 3, which was really what I was aiming for. So I knew I had to stick with it, and then if it bit me, then so be it.
Well, I tell you what, we couldn't have predicted that long of a green flag run, and like I mentioned all the time, there's about 6 or 7 keys to winning one of these races. Congratulations, Josh. You have won 2 of them now. The strategy played out into your hands very well. Who would you like to thank for this victory?
Well, thanks again to you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Thanks to all the guys in the league for running me clean, and it was nice to have some long green flag runs. So thanks to those guys.
Yes, sir. We're definitely looking forward to more races with you. Congratulations again. Have a great weekend, and this definitely sets you up great for the. You're still kind of new to the league, but with those 2 wins, you're definitely locked into the chase. And have a good weekend. We will talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Curtis, tell us what your final takeaway from this race is.
Well, I mean, what a race we just witnessed. 2 cautions at the beginning. I thought it was maybe going to be a race that a lot of these drivers were going to be not really wanting to be a part of, but it turned out to be the exact opposite of that. I mean, these guys ran clean and green after that, and a couple little incidents with slower trucks on older tires, slightly damaged and whatnot, but that's going to happen over the course of 134 laps, and with all the green flag pit stops and whatnot. Overall, couldn't ask for much better of a run out of these drivers tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, Curtis, my takeaway from this race is we have got a core of drivers here that are very talented. They're pretty much equally talented. Of course, some guys are still learning a lot. Some guys have got a lot more experience as far as more laps on the track. But at any given time, we had a boatload of different leaders. I haven't seen how many lead changes we had tonight, but that long green flag run we had just proves that these drivers have matured. They've learned how to race around each other. They've learned how to, even in the face of having a little bit of contact, to gather it back up. We saw a couple of great saves tonight, especially from Andy Kessler in the 98, and then the pit strategy came into play. And I tell you what, I'm very excited about the future of this series and this league. I'm very proud to be working with you, Curtis, and Michael D'Amico with All Pro Broadcasting. Again, he brings those fantastic camera angles you see, fans. And we do have a winner for tonight's free pizza, Sarah Strickland out of Richmond, Virginia. She picked Josh Tanner right before the halfway mark. She's putting her kids down to bed right now. And she will be getting that large 3-topping pizza from Domino's up there in Richmond. Congratulations to her. Curtis Young, myself, Robert McFarland, and Michael D'Amico with All Pro Broadcasting, thank you so much, fans. We enjoy it. We'll see you tomorrow night, Thursday night, we will be having the Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Cup race at Texas. You do not want to miss it. You think this race was incredible? You just wait till tomorrow night. Again, thanks, fans, for being here. We'll see you tomorrow night.
JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.